welcome to Machtails from the Cantina Live, the 2022 Postseason, MLB Postseason edition of the show. And the Astros won, but nobody really gives a shit. I feel obligated to have a finale episode this evening because I owe it to myself. I don't even owe it to you guys. I just need to complete something that I started. We had a lot of fun doing this, but so many heartbreaks along the way. So many heartbreaks along the way. I am here with my two show producers and my good friends, Tyler Page and Antonio from New Jersey, and we are going to talk about, really, that Houston won and nobody really gives a shit. Drinking word of the night tonight, I'm not even going to pick it out of a tin. It is, every time you hear the word cheaters, drink like you have tomorrow off. I do not have tomorrow off. So drink responsibly, only if you're over 21, all that good stuff. There is no Patreon name draw tonight. We have 4 live shows coming up this month. Lots of damn good shows, so please stay tuned for that. Join Patreon for $5 a month, and you can also have a chance to win prizes all month long. So, yeah, like I said, Houston won and nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. We will be talking about that this evening. Without further ado, I would like to bring on my show producers one by one. Would you please welcome back to the show, Antonio from New Jersey. Antonio, thank you so much.
Chat.
Hey, chut to you, my friend. God, what a disappointing postseason this was. I know we had talked in the circle that this could be the year that Houston removes themselves from that stigma of, hey, we can win the World Series without cheating. But there were a lot of different situations where this team was caught cheating. And before we talk about that, how do you feel? Do you just not give a shit?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I was excited a little bit when the Phillies had that one game where they smashed them out. But even then, I didn't watch it. I watched like the first couple innings. The first game I did watch, the first game was kind of wild, but I just wasn't into it. Plus, how can you root for the Phillies and how can you root for the Astros? Like,
well, I don't know. The Phillies, Bryce Harper,
I like Bryce Harper.
There were a couple reasons. The Philly fanatic himself was enough for me to root for.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But no, it really does feel like one of those moments where you're just like, I don't give a shit about whoever is it. Like everybody who could have been interesting, that Padres could have been an interesting one, right? With Soto and everybody there, right? With Tatis, right? Sure. Like Dodgers match up with Houston, like would have been a good narrative just because you want to watch Dodgers destroy Houston Astros.
Well, yeah, because the Astros had won, their cheating World Series against them.
The Jack Astros.
Hey, I want to bring my brother Tyler Page. Tyler, how do you feel about this whole thing? But Tyler, by the way, welcome back to the show. I know you kind of we're on a sabbatical. Maybe Matthew Rooney was producing a show, but welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Always good to have you. What is your take on the Astros winning it all? I mean, did you watch all the games? Did you really care about the Phillies?
I would have liked to see the Phillies to win. Personally, I don't have a vendetta against them. I'm not on the East Coast. I like anytime Rob McElhenney gets happy. That's kind of fun to watch. So from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But yeah, I was rooting for the Phillies mainly because I hate the Astros. And it kind of sucks. I didn't really watch most of the games. Not gonna lie, I probably sat down for a solid 3 of them. And then like last night I was watching out at Michael Mack's show, just kind of turning around every now and then, checking the score. Nothing like sitting on every pitch, because it kind of, I didn't really care.
I was at the United Center last night, the house that Jordan built, as I like to refer it to, is well, of course the Blackhawks had a little bit of that as well.
A little, yeah. I mean,
between the Blackhawks and the Bulls winning all those championships at the United Center, there's a lot of like sports history in that building alone. And when you're at a concert, it's hard to not think about that. But I went to the bar on the 200 level, and I like it up there because you get you're on the suite level. So if the bathrooms, there's no wait. The bar has all kinds of varieties to choose from. Not that long of a wait, but they had the game on, and I'm like, oh shit! And I see it was 1-0. The Phillies were up, and I'm like, I know the Phillies cannot lose anymore. And then I went back for another drink, and I'm like, oh shit, it's 4-1. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. I said, I need to do a show. But man, what an uneventful ending to the 2022 season. We talked about you guys and your views on your teams and how the postseason didn't necessarily go in your favor. Here's the bracket. Again, this is why I did not pick anything. Did you guys, and I got to ask you again, I asked you before, did you guys have any of this right? Any of it right? Tyler?
Nah, maybe Yankees. I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like I was probably picking Rays though.
Yeah. No, I think you did pick the Yankees. I mean, I would say the Yankees make sense to me in that bracket.
Yeah.
I thought the Blue Jays were going to beat Seattle. I think everybody was hoping whoever was playing Houston, obviously, okay, so Seattle played Houston, Yankees played Houston, and then, of course, the Phillies played Houston. So that's 3 teams that just, I don't like looking at that image because it's got the it's got the Houston logo right by the trophy, for God's sake. It's horrible for the eyes.
I feel like just all the good storylines of this season just got stamped out in the postseason, right? Like St. Louis was awesome. They were like soaring off of their run in August and September. They get knocked out. Braves, you're like, dude, Braves are going to do it. Like they're one of those teams. They just are always hot when they need to be. They get knocked out. Like Mets get knocked out. Dodgers get knocked out. I would have even taken Cleveland beating Yankees if they were to beat Houston.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As much as I do not like Cleveland, I would rather have Cleveland over the Astros.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody would. I looking at this, I think the big surprise really came looking back at the whole bracket. The big surprise of this whole thing, Phillies making it to the World Series. Absolutely. If you had them going to the World Series, before the postseason even started, not even to win, but just to show or place, not win, place, or show. My mind is going down the horse track betting line here. But for just the Phillies to make it to the World Series, I think that is a big surprise. For the Padres to make it as far as they did, that was a big surprise. Antonio, let me tell you what my wife always tells me. The fact that you guys lost to a team that won the World Series, this is a little bit of a different scenario here with the cheaters because it's not an easy pill to swallow. But you guys did lose to the team that had won the World Series. When you go out like that, it's a little bit, like the Braves losing to the Phillies, Cardinals losing to the Phillies, they can sleep at night, right? Because same with the Padres opponents. I think it's easier when the team that you lost to. Do you guys agree with that? The team that you lost to wins the World Series. Does that make it easier for you guys?
That they went all the way?
Yes, that the team that beat you, won the World Series.
No. It doesn't. I feel like I still want the White Sox to win. Like, I don't give a shit who it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I bet Dodger fans were really happy the opposite happened when San Diego lost. Because I'm sure Dodger fans were like, what the hell are we doing? That the San Diego Padres are going to be in the World Series.
And then they're like, it was a fluke,
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Phillies, as it's like sustainable, it seems like there's, they got a lot of the pieces they need for next season, and they could.
That division is going to be crazy next year, right? So you have Phillies, Atlanta, Mets. Who else am I missing? Miami?
Yeah, but they're even Andy would.
Andy will tell you that there's a reason. There's a reason why. Okay, here Tim chimes in. But to finish my thought, there is a reason why we forget about Miami, and Andy will definitely be on our side when it comes to that. But Tim, yeah, baby, Astros. I am hoping, Tim, that you are from Houston. I'm a Rays fan from Chicago. God, if you are an Astros fan that does not live in Texas, I don't understand. I don't understand that. I mean, some people don't understand why I'm a big Rays fan from Chicago. Now, when I did leave the concert last night, Jane's Addiction, Smashing Pumpkins. Again, that is the wine talking to me tonight. It only happens on the baseball show. It never happens on Machtails Live when we're doing like a Star Wars themed show. I always get my thoughts twisted around on the baseball portion. I'm like Harry Carey over here.
Knuckleball.
Yeah. But, when I left the show last night, I realized that there was an Astros fan like crossing the street next to me. And you know what? I just cannot be that bush league when it comes to talking shit to people in the street that are Astros fans. It's like, if that's your team and you want to stand by your cheating team, then,
I might give him the stink eye. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to.
Told me that you were in the bathroom with a couple of these guys. And
I did hug one guy in the bathroom, but he was super nice. We'd both washed our hands, and I didn't even realize. I felt dirty, though, when I hugged him and I saw the Altuve on the other side. So, and I called him out on that. I was like, what?
It's like, man, it's you call them out, but when they're friendly too, it's like when they're friendly too. That's like why I soften my dislike to the Red Sox fans, because they're always friendly to me. I'm like, how can I be a dick to people that are nice to me?
Yeah.
That is just not how the world is supposed to operate. Before I want to talk about your predictions on your teams for the hot stove season, as they call it, which is firing up now. I do want to talk about some instances that still prove that the Astros did not win it cleanly. And Tyler, I believe you have some photos of this. Yeah, we have the illegal Pujols bat.
So that's actually Martin Maldonado's bat, but if it's going to keep
Martin Maldonado's bat, okay.
Yeah, so he's the catcher, right? And it was like a grandfathered in bat from Pujols, but he's not allowed. Okay. He's not allowed to use it, and him and Pujols were friends on the Angels, so that's kind of how you finagled it from him. I don't know what's going through his mind, thinking that he can use a Pujols bat. There's the Pujols bat.
Okay,
it's darker. Wow. It's just a totally different.
This kind of reminds me of MLB or the media in general is doing what they did during the pandemic and what they did during the Vietnam War. They're using this as propaganda, ladies and gentlemen. They
said it was a risk issue, is a health issue or something for him to use a bat, like a Pujols' grandfather in bat. But his bat, the only difference is that it's got a longer barrel, which is, I would, if any little edge you can get, especially on the biggest stage, it's going to matter.
Well, if Vladimir Guerrero used a longer bat back in his heyday, he would he would be very, very dangerous. Okay, so we got the bat. What else do we got? We have the glove, I know, and some.
Yeah. So Framber Valdez using sticky stuff. There he is. He's got it right in his. It's his glove hand. So he's going in there, grabbing it with his left, and then.
And this is not the same game. No, this is a different game, though. It's World Series, but not the same game as the bat.
Yeah, not the same game. They MLB told him after game 1, stop using the bat.
So then, is this game 2?
This must be, yeah, I think this is game 2. And I just got him the hair.
He looks like a cheater right there.
Yeah, he's got all the makings.
It's so funny.
He's got all the makings, but when they went on and checked for this substance, they did not check the glove. They checked his hair, right?
They checked his throwing hand, not his glove hand, and he had just wiped it off on his pants. They caught it on tape. There they are, checking the throwing hand.
Yeah, these are great, man. Tyler, you are proving your keep tonight. These are great.
Yeah, this is amazing.
These are things that I was thinking about that were popping in my head as I was watching them celebrate last night. So.
Yeah,
you listen. There's cheating all the time. Like this stuff happens.
Yeah,
but
yeah, okay, it happens. But again, when you have the media, when you have the team playing in the World Series that everybody hates, except if you're Tim, this is a legitimate argument here. So we got the bat. We got the glove, and then there was also some. One of the pitchers was tipping his pitches, if that's the right terminology I want to use. McCullers was the pitcher.
Yeah, so John Boy tried to do an analysis. I'm sure you're a big fan of John Boy, Antonio. So am I, even though he's not the cleanest. So he's not the most unbiased.
He's a Yankee fan.
Yeah,
he's a Yankee fan.
I do know John Boy, yes.
But he did an analysis, and he's like, I don't know what, because allegedly it was Bryce Harper that caught the towel, and he couldn't figure it out. So, but they rocked them that game. It was like 7-0, right? So,
yeah. But he was. I feel like he had to have been tipping.
Yeah, that was. He is telling Bohm, I think. Like, hey,
so
look for this.
For those of you that are more of a casual fan, we don't have Andy from Miami to tell us, but can you guys, Tyler or Antonio, can you guys explain to my casual baseball listeners what it means to be tipping the pitches?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, my interpretation, like any little thing, anything you twist your elbow this way, a lot of times it's like how they position the glove and part of when they're going out of the stretch. It's any little thing that kind of tips off breaking ball or fastball. I feel like that's the biggest differences normally.
Like you'll see guys who sit on second base and they'll see, all right, the delivery of the fastball comes up from up here, but when he comes with just a little position of where the arm is coming from. And so they'll start to notice that, and then they'll start to relay that back to, the dugout. Okay, when you see his arm come up high, or when he does the cradle twice, he's going for a slider. It's all those little tells.
Well, would you say in a roundabout way that people that don't understand the game 100%, that might be similar to sign stealing in a way, but when it comes to pitches?
Would you? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I would say, listen, if you're playing poker, right, and you notice someone when they make a bad bluff, touches their nose twice, or touches their chin, are you cheating for being able to read their ticks? I don't think so, but I think when you have a system employed that is like using a camera in a dugout, or not in a dugout, in the outfield, that has people monitoring that, and then other people relaying that information from that one place to another place, and then everybody's
Yeah.
using a system. That's cheating, right? Like when
Yeah.
a system is put into place to steal signs, that's cheating, right? Like being part of the game and noticing that when the pitcher does a high kick, he's gonna like come in with a knuckleball. I feel like that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Would you say that there? God, you know what? Just to kind of put it in perspective, too, would you say that there is an element? Would that be? Is it considered bush league to you guys?
To tip or to figure it out?
I would say more, because if you're figuring it out, you're more of an Andor or Han Solo kind of character. You know, you're just kind of figuring out the system, right? You're doing it on your own. You're doing it cleanly. You're being observant. That's more of a strategy. But when you're using cameras and shit like that, there's an element of being bush league about that, isn't there?
Of course, in my mind, yes.
Yeah, I could see that.
You might not be, sliding into people with your cleats or colliding at home plate, but you're doing it in a technological way, which is crazy. I don't know. That is definitely open for debate, but it's so important to hear the fans' perspective on that. We got any other cool images from the archives?
Well, yeah, no, this is the one I want to talk about because this is the one. Like the other stuff, I think the bat is stupid. I think, like, why are you trying to do that? Sticky stuff. Why are you doing that as well? This one, though, this is to me like this is why Houston Astros suck.
Yeah, and this is
it.
They would do this like all the time.
Oh. Yep. Well, okay, he's stepping into that pitch pretty much.
He actually, right after this, this game was called by Pat Hoberg behind the plate. And
great game.
Yeah, and he was the one, he was like, you fucking leaned right into it. Get your ass back here, or whatever he said. So, yeah, this one got called out perfectly. But there was, last night when we were watching, we saw Martin Maldonado. He always crowds the plate, but he kind of moves his elbow in at the last second here to get hit by that one. It seemed like he was trying to get hit to me. But
that is very controversial. I know Rizzo, when he was on the Cubs, he did that. Antonio, I don't know if he did that necessarily with the Yankees, but I know he's been hit by a pitch a lot. Here, was this the right call? Okay. What was this called? Was he hit by the pitch or?
Yeah, hit by pitch and walk.
Okay, it was a hit by pitch. Now, it looks like it might have breezed his jersey.
No, his like, his left arm comes down a little bit, and then it hits him pretty smack dab on the elbow. But he kind of moves his body into it. So it seems pretty shiesty.
Yeah. It's just like dirty play. Like they just can't win by being good enough.
Right.
Like and they are a good team. Like I hate to say it, the Houston Astros are a good team. Like I don't know. Like why dirty yourself that way? And you can level that at the Yankees sometimes, absolutely, and a bunch of other teams. I totally get it. But right now, we're leveling it at the Astros because they're the ones who won the World Series, and they're pulling this crap in the World Series.
Well, and if anybody else won the World Series, it would not have been any different. Okay, what's going on here, Tyler?
This is not from. There's a great video out there of Dusty Baker doing a beer luge, which I would recommend watching. But this is from the divisional title where he did a shoey. It's where you drink. It's an Australian tradition, as I understand. But you drink champagne or beer out of a shoe. So
drink beer. Okay, now here, help me out here because I know.
I know you're gonna ask.
We talked about this last year.
Is this a foot fetish thing?
Dusty Baker. Okay.
The hands.
He is he's the least hateable manager that they put with the most hateable team.
Yep.
When was I cannot tell you when this happened. When was the last time that he had won a World Series?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Is this going back to the San Francisco Giants?
No, this is his first World Series.
This is
Wow.
okay. Yeah, he never won with the Giants because that was Bruce Bochy
Yeah.
that won with the Giants. And I know they were on a losing streak for a long time. So this okay.
Wow.
That's the silver lining with this shit.
I suppose.
For me, it might be, but it's not good enough to remove the fact that these guys are tainted cheaters. And remember, guys, the drinking word of the night tonight is cheaters. Drink like it's a Friday night. Okay, Tyler, what do you got here? You got
these are your World Series odds as of this morning. Obviously, a bunch of guys, like stuff has already happened, right? Like I think Rizzo opted out.
Yeah.
Re-signed Diaz. A lot more stuff's going to happen on the 10th because I think that's when free agency officially opens. But yeah, these are.
This is looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, this is looking forward to next year. So.
Okay, again, we got, speaking about the Giants, we got a 3,500. So the higher the number, the more, the least likely that they're going to go.
Yeah, the bigger the payout. So if you put like the Orioles at plus 4,000 seems like a solid, that's a solid price because
that's Twins, Guardians, Rangers got $5,000. Yeah, and these are teams that I cannot see winning the World Series. It's hard to say. It's funny because the Rays are kind of in the middle there. They're not quite 5, but they're not 500. They're not 5,000, but they're not 500. They're kind of in the middle. Yankees are 900, obviously. Tyler, where do your White Sox rate in here?
We're at plus 1,400. So we're the same as the Padres, which is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do. I don't think we're still probably going to be projected to win the division, but that's going to be hard. Cleveland's still a good team. So
they're young, right?
Yeah. Cleveland's real young.
So put your money down now. God, if you just throw a couple dollars down in the Rangers, the Orioles, the Twins, the Guardians, what's
that guy? Mattress Mac, who did that, who bet on the Astros, right?
Yep.
Yes.
$75 million.
Yeah, God, I would take $100 each and throw it down in all those shitty teams,
right?
And see what happens. Now, looking into the future here, I want to talk a little bit about the hot stove portion of our teams. Predictions, expectations, the Rays, the White Sox, and the Yankees. Antonio, why don't you go first? But before you do, I do like that hat. That looks like an official, I'm going to say minor league team. Is that a minor league team hat?
That's right. That's our minor league team out here. The Somerset Patriots, which is where Oscar Peraza, Anthony Volpe, a bunch of our great guys have come up through. But this is their Latin X, that they did for their Latin celebration a couple months back. So it's the Zoros de Somerset. So the Foxes in Somerset. It's dope, right? Real nice. I'll tell you one thing. Yankee minor leagues around here, we have Hudson Valley's really good, and the Rail Riders as well. Really great minor league stuff.
And it beats the traffic going in to see a Yankees game.
$15 tickets.
The price, the commute, you cannot beat it. What are your expectations, your predictions, your feelings on the 2023 Yankees? Do they match that little spread that Tyler had shared with us? That we're looking at a good probability that these guys are going to win the World Series.
First off, what's up with the Blue Jays being that high up?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, the Blue Jays.
What?
Yeah, I don't like that. I do not appreciate that. I can see the Red Sox doing better than the Blue Jays next year, actually.
And I feel like the Met, whatever. Okay, so I think I think the Yankees re-sign everybody. We also get Ohtani, and we somehow also get Trout, and we win the World Series.
And you win the World. Okay, so
no, I mean honestly, we got a lot of work that I would want to see done, and I don't have faith that any of that stuff is going to get done. I would like to see Rizzo come back. I think he's going to. I'd like to see Judge come back, but I'm 50-50 on that, to be honest with you. I really feel like we have no insight from him at all about it. He's been so like tight-lipped about it. And I feel like there are just certain things that are not going to change. I want to see what happens with IKF and Josh Donaldson. I think they're both trash. But I think at least IKF is not a trash human being. Josh Donaldson kind of is. So I'd like to see them gone, but we'll see.
And just so we have a clear picture, these are the free agents. Like the Yankees have a lot of work to do. Probably some of the most.
We have a lot. I'm worried about next year, but I think 2020, the year after that, will be more settled.
So we're looking at the list of agents from the Yankees right here. That's a shit ton.
Well, first off, is anyone really going to pick up Chapman? Does anyone want to bring a cancer on your team?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
He would fit in with the White Sox.
I mean, obviously, I could see the Yankees spending the money on Judge for sure. Now, Antonio, I don't know if you knew this, but the fact that Anthony Rizzo, I remember when he was traded from the Padres to the Cubs, they had asked him in an interview, like, who else would you play for if you weren't playing for the Cubs? He said the Yankees. Like, he grew up as a genuine Yankees fan. So I think that they're going to do everything in their power, and he's going to do everything in his power to stay with the Yankees.
It sounds like his opt-out is to really actually try to secure a longer, well, obviously more money, I believe, and I think he deserves it. He produced for us. But it sounds like he wants to be there for a longer term, right? And that's honestly awesome. Anthony Meatballs belongs in the pinstripes, whether it's Cubs or Yankees.
Yeah, and I can't really see him going on any other team without it like being like all about the money. But the Yankees, as you guys know, the Yankees have the money. Okay, who else are we looking at here? We're looking at
Benintendi.
Yeah, Benintendi. I get ex-Red Sox vibes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he was great with the Red Sox.
Zach Britton. I want to say that chimes the Orioles memory there.
Yep, I believe you're right.
Chad Green. We got Matt Carpenter, who, honestly, I think whatever we got to do to keep Matt Carpenter. I know he's not going to be great.
The former Cardinal, is that Matt Carpenter?
Yeah, Mustache Matty. Dude, he is like just the greatest person ever. I want to keep him so badly.
Okay, so you like him as a human being?
Yes. Okay. Let's hire him in the front office.
I think that is an important thing. Now, looking at this list too, I believe that from top to bottom, are these? How are we rating this? Like from order of importance to the most salary?
I think this is sorted by salary right now.
Yeah,
sorted by salary. Okay.
I mean, it's also kind of by importance.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, well, except Chapman. Yeah. Oh, it's important to release Chapman at this point.
But like our pitching, right? Like Jameson and Chad Green, like that's the stuff that we got to be thinking about.
Okay, like you want to see those guys resign.
No, you should, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, we got to do a lot of our bullpen just got hampered towards the end with just a lot of people falling out, right? So we got to be focused on that and figure out our infield.
All right, so I respect your predictions. I think they're realistic. Tyler, let's see that free agency from the White Sox. I got to ask you, a lot of people that are baseball fans, especially knowing you, that you're a White Sox fan, they probably want to know number one, what do you think about your new manager? And two, what are your predictions on the 2023 season? And three, I'm always asking a bunch of questions at once. Did you continue your season ticket plan?
I'll start off with that. I did not continue my season ticket plan. Taking a bath, and I can go to the games I want to go to for $5 instead of $35. So yeah, that's my logic there. But Pedro Grifol. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know what to think of him because I don't really know him, and I've asked a bunch of Sox fans, like, yeah, I don't really know. He's saying the right things, you know. He's saying like he made some comment in his opening speech where he's like, you know, we need to be fundamentally sound playing baseball defensively, obviously, which was like, yeah, okay, this guy gets it. You know, and you have Rick Hahn or GM saying like, yeah, we're not going to have, you know, first baseman playing left field anymore, which is like, you know, you in this day and age in baseball, you think you didn't have to say that, but here we are. So I'm excited. I think they're going to have to grind to win the division, and I think they will.
So can you easily bring up the free agency list?
Let me see. It's not as big. I will say the most important one that we probably should have let walk is Jose Abreu.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I mean Abreu is rumored to join the Rays, but the Rays just do not have that kind of money for that kind of talent. The Rays do things a little differently. But I'll get into that after your thoughts on the free agency list here.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at that free agency list compared to the Yankees.
Yeah.
This is like a quarter of the Yankees free agency.
Yeah.
Now, here, the question is that will your ownership spend the money? We know Reinsdorf is like, there's a lot of people that have a love-hate relationship with him, including Michael Jordan from yesteryear. Hey, Tyler, were you surprised that Ozzie Guillen did not get the job to manage the White Sox?
Yeah, it kind of was, you know, because
he did put himself out there, and he's still a fucking baseball guy, you know?
Yeah, and he
did throw his name out there?
Yeah,
he wanted the job again?
He got 2 interviews. He said something, though, where he's like, listen, I'm happy doing that, but he also does the pre- and post-game show for the Sox. He's like, I'm happy doing that, too. Whatever you want. But I think he wanted that gig.
I would have liked to see him have that gig. You know what?
Same.
Who knows?
I love him.
Maybe the White Sox organization has a little bit of a bitter taste in their mouth from hiring La Russa, you know, just a golden gem of yesteryear that, you know, and God bless La Russa. You know, I know he had some health issues, and as just a Chicago fan, it was cool to see him come back because I'm all about nostalgia, and I have a feeling that
I wish he didn't. I just hate him. I feel like I'm so sour on La Russa now. So
I mean, my grandpa paved this fucking driveway, for God's sake, in 1983. It's like, and the old Comiskey Park. So there was an element, especially from a Cubs fan side, just a Chicago and in general, it was kind of cool to see La Russa get the gig, but we all know it ended, you know, on a sour note. Maybe the White Sox wanted to try something new, and maybe that's why they did not hire Ozzie Guillen. There we go with the slippage again, a Harry Carey slippage. Okay, let's see this list close up here. Yep. We have Jose Abreu, AJ Pollock, the ex-Diamondback, and we're going in the order of financial situation.
He's known for the Dodgers. Just throwing that out there. Pollock is known for the Dodgers.
You say Pollock's going to the Dodgers?
No, he's known for playing for the Dodgers.
He's known for playing. See, I know. You know why I know him as a Diamondback? Because I have his Star Wars bobblehead.
Really?
Josh Harrison, of course, we know from Pittsburgh. Man, these guys are not in the big. God, compared to the Yankees payroll, these are small numbers.
Yeah, no, we run cheap. And Johnny Cueto had an outstanding year, and I would love for the Sox to bring him back, but I don't think we will. So that's the thing. I don't think we're bringing like any of these guys back. Pollock has a player option. I think we're gonna he'll pick that up. And I want the Sox to sign Brandon Nimmo, but that's not gonna happen. I don't think.
So you're okay. So Antonio, you feel like the Yankees are gonna sign at least a handful of the guys. I know you were very vocal on who you think they should bring back. And obviously, like Chapman, who they shouldn't bring back. I mean, Chapman's time has come and gone a couple years ago. That's being generous, in my opinion. And I consider myself a generous type of person. Tyler, you don't think any of these guys are coming back? Who do you hope they sign from the free agent market? And that might be a little bit of a difficult question because we're not looking at the complete list of free agents out there.
Yeah, Brandon Nemo, outfielder from the Mets.
Okay.
And he's going to be a hot guy to get. And then either the shortstop free agency market is looking pretty hot. I don't know what should happen, but if we can get a shortstop that can play second, we need a second baseman. So I don't know if we're going to trade. I think we'll probably trade someone.
So you feel like you're going to trade somebody, and you feel like you'd be happy if you found somebody that could play short and second, so somebody that can flip those.
Or just second, just a second. So we haven't seen the second. White Sox haven't seen a second baseman or a right fielder in a while. So it'd be great.
Antonio, what do you think is the weak spot of the Yankees moving into next season? Obviously, Tyler was very clear on second baseman, maybe shortstop as well. Is there a weak spot for the Yankees next year?
Oh, yeah. Let's say shortstop, third base, on the batting side, right? And I think bullpen. We got to figure out what's going on with our bullpen and what's. I can go into much more, right? Because it all depends. Does Benintendi come back?
Yeah.
And how we have because our outfield could be simply shut down. Could be awesome with Judge coming back, and you got Harrison Bader, who turned out to be one of the greatest people ever, and then you get one or two other people, it's fantastic. Or Judge goes, and then what do you do? And it kind of all so.
I can't see Judge going. I really can't. I mean, I know it's going to be a pretty paycheck for him, especially after the year he had.
A lot of people say he's going to the Giants. So
yeah, I keep hearing that.
But are the Giants really going to shell out like that?
I heard a quote that someone said the Giants they have a blank check. And they're just gonna write whatever,
a blank check. Well, yeah. It must be nice. It must,
right? But definitely our infield. We got to figure out what's going on with our shortstops because we have really good young kids who can play, like Oscar Peraza and Oscar Cabrera, who can go. The Aussies can go. So what's going on with? Why do we have IKF and JD? What's going on there? Because they don't produce at all.
There is a blank check. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that though? There is a part of this fandom that I relate to my Star Wars fandom very much so because I never like to speculate. You guys know that because half the time the speculations don't come true. They don't happen. And I feel like as a baseball fan, it's very, very similar. It's like we don't know who's going to sign who's got the blank paycheck to just sign and throw into the wind. So I usually just like to tune out during that, break in between a Star Wars show episode or the hot stove season and just kind of pick up when the season starts, when the new Star Wars show starts. I mean, I didn't get caught up in all that bullshit that is going to disappoint me or overexcite me.
It's fun to play GM though. It's fun to be like, oh, this could happen. This should happen.
It is. I'm having a great time tonight on this show. And not to discredit what we've done before on Machtails postseason, but this is a really great show. I think because I'm with my brothers, Antonio and Tyler, we're all smoking, rolling the same stuff. We're all cut from the same cloth, that sort of thing. I do want to chime in on the Rays. And Tyler, if you don't mind bringing up that free agency list, I'm very interested in that. I do want to start off with the problem with the Rays for a good handful of years now. They just do not have starting pitching. They kind of piecemeal their pitching together. It's worked, but it's only gotten them so far. Obviously, it's worked because they are at, 2,200 instead of 5,000 odds to bet on. Now, this is a much smaller list than I had realized. Kevin Kiermaier, of course, brought up by the Rays. did not get a chance to even play the last half of the season. God, you know what? I never know what to expect from the Rays except that they will just do something that's good for the team. So we got Kiermaier. Corey Kluber had a good year. Oddly enough, he was the guy that gave up the fucking, the winning run for that second wild card game. I felt like that was super ironic because he's a former, I want to say Indian because he was on the Cleveland Indians. David Peralta, not ultra familiar with him, even though he's got a big paycheck. Mr. Florida, Mike Zunino, Mikey Z, I could see him maybe taking a little bit of a pay cut to stay on the team. Hey, Brad Riverdale is chiming in. I know he's always chiming in. Injury bug has taken the Rays down the last couple of years. Yes, I believe between that and the fact that we do not have like that 1, 2, 3 consistent starting pitching like we did in years past, and what a lot of teams do have. The Rays really created that opener role. I do not know the last 3, 4 guys on this list, which is kind of good. God, look at this guy. Christopher, is it Christopher? Is that, am I reading that right? I got my glasses on.
Yeah, it's Christopher.
He's making $700,000 a year. Is there anybody even on the Yankees organization, even in the front office, that's making less than $700,000 a year?
I think that's like what, the league minimum, rookie minimum or something. I can't remember.
It's got to be. And these are pitchers, right? So he's a pitcher. Kevin's a pitcher. Okay, so there's not a lot of free agents on the Rays. So my prediction, looking at this list, is that the Rays are going to be back next year doing what they always do, competing in the American League East, doing things, the Rays way. They're probably going to spend some money on some veterans. Are they going to drop the money on Abreu? Who knows? I don't know. Probably not. There's been some former White Sox that have been on the Rays organization. That has always been kind of cool and fun to see. It's always rekindled my love of those baseball players when they become Rays instead of White Sox. Not to take anything away from you, Tyler, but
you can still cheer for them.
I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool to see former veterans that have had really good years play on the Rays for a fraction of the price because the Rays do not have a lot of money. So my prediction on the Rays are that they're going to be competing alongside the Yankees, alongside the Red Sox, alongside the Blue Jays, maybe even the Orioles. As we know, they came close to getting in on that wild card game. The AL East, here's my prediction. The AL East is going to be the division to beat next year, as they always are. God, any other final thoughts besides who gives a shit that the Astros won? Hey, let me ask you this. When you look at an Astros fan, I know, Tyler, you were hugging them in the bathroom. I know I could not talk shit about them, because I'm not that Bush League as a fan. I don't want to say that when I see them, I'm like, damn, dude, you stand by a cheater. I'm like, if your wife cheated, would you really work things out? Hey, cheating, I always think of like significant other. That's where I go.
It pays to cheat.
Others and the Astros.
It pays to cheat.
Pays to cheat. That's the bottom line. That's what MLB is telling everyone.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And there's been no repercussions. In fact, I would argue they've benefited from it. So just go out there, and I hope, all the White Sox bats are corked and, they got sticky stuff.
Wait a minute, because you're saying that it's okay to cheat? Is that what you're saying?
Why not? Yeah.
That's the lesson here.
Yeah, it's a lesson.
Well, I don't. God, it's the lesson, but it doesn't mean that you have to. Hey, Star Wars teaches us the difference between good and evil. And there's a lot of evil in the world, and we still know the difference between choosing the dark side or the light. Hopefully, most of us choose the light side. Yes, MLB is showing that it's okay, but when it comes to Astros fans, when you look at them, what do you think? What do you think when you look at the fans?
Fake. You don't
Fake,
watch.
okay, that's a good word.
You don't watch real baseball, so I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of things, and fuck Kate Upton. Yeah.
Well, first off,
she's annoying.
She's always been annoying.
She was annoying when he was on the Tigers.
Yeah. That's right.
Antonio, your feeling on Astros fans, when you look at them, what is the first word that comes to your mind?
Well, I'll say it depends on age, right? So if they're an older person, I'm like, you probably have some good memories of Nolan Ryan. That's pretty cool, right? Sorry that you have to live through this now. I see young kids. I'm like, that's terrible that your parents have trash taste and they're pushing it on you. And then I look at someone my age and I'm just like, there's other like professional baseball teams out there. And, you live in Houston, huh? You can move. You just move.
There was a sense of ballsiness and pride too, because like when I saw that guy last night leaving the United Center in Chicago, wearing an Astros jersey, not a shirt, but a fucking jersey, on the night that they won, I was like, and I wanted to go. I was like, are you from Houston? I'm like, do you know you guys still fucking cheat? But I didn't. But I'm curious. I mean, it left me hanging for sure. I had a lot of fun with you guys today, man. God, it's kind of sad to see the whole baseball content of this show kind of take a little bit of a hibernation break.
Oh, yeah.
On Machtails, we don't give a shit about football. We don't really give a shit about.
I like football. No.
You guys might like football, but it's a paycheck for me when I work the football games. But again, I want to thank Antonio from New Jersey for spending time with us and giving his thoughts on the Astros and giving his thoughts on the Yankees for the 2023 season, man. So that was a fuck you to the Astros, right? But a thumbs up to the 2023 season. Thanks again, brother, for producing some great content on Machtails podcast show. You guys can join Patreon and listen to his show, The Lineage, which is all about music. So we might not be talking about baseball until spring training, but you can listen to Antonio talk about music on The Lineage on a Machtails podcast edition. I want to thank my brother Tyler Page and welcome him back. Tyler, we missed you behind the scenes here. Thank you for whipping up some great photos, man. There was some great imagery of some very, very scary things that have happened during the 2022 postseason. But thanks for spending your time sharing your thoughts on the Astros and your 2023 Chicago White Sox, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. And this postseason was dramatic. At least we got good baseball and some drama. So
we did, and we did get some really, really good stories. And like you said, I think Antonio, it was you that said great stories, but they all died at the hands of the Astros winning the trophy. Which sucked. I mean, it was kind of like a shitty way. It's like, it's kind of like a Star Wars fan that is very negative watching a new Star Wars show. It's like, I wanted to watch it, but goddamn, did that suck. And obviously, you guys know that we do not feel that way about Star Wars productions that we are watching. I know I had you guys both on the podcast show, and what you guys said you were thankful for as fans, you guys said that you were thankful for new content coming, and Rich Brendel chimed in on that too. Just thankful we're getting new Star Wars content. Well, hey, what do you think? What are you guys thankful for? I want to hear you guys. I want to hear your thoughts on my Patreon content. As we, I always got to end with the Robert Hines band. I wish that Robert Hines would be in the studio, inside the Wampa Cave here, live every night. But there is not enough money in the budget. But there could be if you guys join Machtails from the Cantina on Patreon for just $2 a month. $5 a month gives you so much more, and so on and so forth. I want to thank you guys for chiming in live. I do want to thank Jason Ugent. I do not know why he is not a Patreon supporter. I want to thank my brother, Brad Riverdall, for always chiming in, always keeping up with the content, and his support for the show that we've done over the years. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in live. And for you baseball fans, we're just going to have to wait until next year, unless you're the Cheatstros. Again, thank you so much for your time and your support. We will catch you guys next time on Mocktails from the Cantina, another round live, which we will be doing 4 live shows this month, starting with November 10th. We will be doing a Star Wars holiday special show with the guys and the girls, the guy and the girl, Richard and Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland. We're doing a Star Trek show on November 12th with Jason Swank, the Tenudos, and Dan Matson. And then we got some great shows right after Thanksgiving during that weekend. So, hey, stay tuned for the next show. We will catch you guys next time on Mocktails from the Cantina. I'm going to finish my last sip of water out of my Field of Dreams glass. So long, everybody.